Hello everyone, my name is Rebeca Dos Santos Fabiano. I student of Letras Português e Inglês at UFRJ. I will be talking about my research on learning English. The research involved the participation of 7 people from outside the faculty of Letras, and the method used was audio interviews via WhatsApp. I select 7 people who are not part of my building at the Faculty of Arts and with whom I have no close relationship. The intention was to observe how individuals from different areas construct their understanding and beliefs about the topic. I sought diversity in profiles, age, academic, or professional area relationship with the topic, which enriched the material collected. I sent a few questions and asked them to respond via audio. And the answers come in varied forms, some long, with personal reflection, others more objective, some with a certain initial hesitation, which directly influenced my emotional perspective while listening to them. Because the interviews were conducted through audio messages on WhatsApp, the place of the research ended up being my own environment, a quiet and silent space where I could listen, think, and calmly analyze each response. The participants, however, were each in their own daily context, which made their speech more spontaneous and natural. During the process, 3 people ended up not responding. One explained that they did not like recording audio messages, and the other two simply did not correctly, though none of them were impolite. I began the research in the afternoon around 2 p.m. and finished in the early evening around 7 p.m. Considering the time for sending, waiting, and listening to the audios. I carried out everything on my own, focused on the individual exchange with each participant. Overall, I was well received. The responses come with politeness and wildness, and I did not perceive any different treatment because of my gender or race. What I did notice were subtle changes in tone from some participants, such as greater formality in certain answers, but nothing that indicated discrimination. When I mentioned English, the effect varied significantly. Some people showed discomfort or a kind of blockage, as if the topic triggered confusing memories or not so positive experience. Others addressed it naturally but without much enthusiasm. Very few some are truly comfortable talking about English, which reveals how this language is to cause insecurities and feelings of inadequacy for many people. The questions that generated the most difficulty were those related to gender. Many did not know exactly who to define or respond, and those about negative experience or traumas with English, which several participants had difficulty identifying or articulating. Question requiring deeper personal reflection also generated hesitation and short answer. For me, the process mixed anxiety and curiosity. I tried to make the first contact carefully without seeming intrusive, and at the beginning, I was afraid that people would feel pressured to give a right answer, Over time, however, I feel more security, especially when I noticed that many responses came loaded with sincerity. Listening to the audios helped me turn into each person written and adjust my perspective to the different ways of thinking and expressing the topics. There were also some unexpected situations. Some people began responding seriously but soon drifted into something more personal, like a school memory or aloud about their own relationship with English. Some recorded their audio on the street with background noise, and others apologized several times for their shyness. These small details made the research more vivid, human, and spontaneous than I imagined.
First participant, an interior design student at UFRJ. Male identifies as black. His speech impacted me due to his evident shyness, which made it clear he was trying to answer even though he did not feel fully confident. This surprised me because I expected someone more laid back and more reserved. Tone made me rethink the way I formulated the question. The answer did not bring comfort. In fact, they made me slightly insecure, as if I had asked something too difficult for him to elaborate at that moment. It also raised doubts about my own question, whether it was clear or could have been asked differently. At the same time, I noticed that there was no resistance. It was more a sincere attempt to collaborate even with uncertainty. The lack of enthusiasm contrasted with the objective, which made me feel that he wanted to help but did not know exactly what to say. In the end, I was left with mixed emotion, somewhat confused by the brevity and shyness, but also moved by the care he showed in answering despite the difficulty. Second participants, physical education studying at UFRJ, identify as, abre aspas, mulher parda lésbica, fecha aspas. Her speech impacted me because of the confidence and directness with which she answered. Unlike other more hesitant participants, she seemed to know exactly what she wanted to say, even using few words. This surprised me positively because the brevity did not sound like disinterest, but rather like someone confident in her own perspective. Her objectives brought a sense of clarity. I felt that my question was well understood and less to be heard, and this gave me a bit more confidence in the interview process. I did not feel resistance, but I also did not sense enthusiasm. It was more of a professional, almost neutral tone, yet firm. This left me calm and even somewhat encouraged, because her confidence helped balance the insecurity I felt in other audios. Even being brief, the firmness of her tone strengthened the value of her response and made me realize how different personalities shape the dynamics of research. The participant 3, a mathematics teaching degree studying at UFRJ, identifies as white man. His speech impacted me because of the mystery of engagement and hesitation. I was surprised by how deeply he reflected on the topics, even being from another field. His insecurity at time made me think about whether my questions were clean for someone outside the letters. But at the same time, I felt openness and genuine willingness to collaborate. Overall, the response left me motivated and curious because it showed that he was thinking along me. Participant 4. Nursing studying at UFRJ identifies as Black woman. Her objective, accompanied by many details, conveyed a sense of clarity and confidence. I felt she knew exactly what she wanted to say and could organize her ideas well. This made me feel at ease and even somewhat impressed because the response was direct yet rich. Her way of speaking made me feel she was truly committed to contributing, which brought confidence and reinforced the importance of the read. Participant 5 choose not to answer because they not like record audio. Participants 6 and 7 just choose not to answer. The responses collected broadened my view of how people outside the letters ever meant perceive the topic. The research diary showed not only the content of the interviews but also how each voice affected my investigative process. This dual movement, listening and being affected, made the research richer and more conscious. The research showed that many participants had difficulty talking about gender and especially about their traumas with learning English, often because they did not recognize this experience or they did not feel comfortable expressing them. As a solution, we propose creating a more welcoming and safe environment, representing passion in a gentle way, and offering examples that help people identify their own experience. It is also important to allow open-ended responses and reinforce that there is no right or wrong, reducing the fear of judgment. This way, participants can better reflect on their experience and respond with greater clarity and confidence.